If you want to go solo, you need to watch this first. Opening my solo law firm was the best decision I ever made, but you need to make sure that you do it right. I'm Darcel Lobo. I'm a solo attorney who teaches you how to build and open your solo law firm. Let's start with your practice area. I generally like to see my solos have 2 or 3 practice areas, one that can be a passion for you, one that's steady and is not market driven, one that kind of stays consistent, and then one that's going to be maybe more market driven and can be more seasonal, have more ups and downs. So for passion, that can be any kind of specialty niche that you want to focus in. For the ones that are more steady, I'm thinking like family law, criminal. Those are pretty consistent, even if the market goes up or goes down. Even estate planning, probate, that's pretty steady as well. For something like family law, if you're going to go into family law, that can be such a big practice that I don't know that you need 2 or 3 practice areas if you're doing family law. But what I would say is that if you're going to do family law, is there some kind of niche or certain type of case that you can kind of focus on and emphasize for your marketing and kind of who you're attracting. So think about that if your practice area is large, like family law. And then back to the one that's market driven. For me, that was bankruptcy. Bankruptcy was a very large part of my practice. It's kind of what I built my practice on, was helping homeowners avoid foreclosure. That was my specialty, but through COVID, that dried up. And thank goodness I had my other practice areas to keep me afloat, like my estate planning and like my probate, because bankruptcy dried up when COVID hit, 2020, 2021. So you want to make sure if you have a practice area that it can be more market driven, that you have one that's also more steady, that can be there and be consistent for you in the ebbs and flows. Next, we're going to keep your overhead low. Nowadays, so many lawyers have virtual law firms where you're working from home, or maybe you have some kind of co-working space or other arrangement, some kind of virtual law firm. But even if you have a brick and mortar, there still is a way to keep your overhead low. And so if you're going to do a brick and mortar, which is what I have, and I've had that the whole 10 years that I've been a solo, I've had an office space, even though I have my home office here. So for a brick and mortar, I would look to other attorneys. Who's someone that you can sublease just a small space from? You don't need a large office space. You want to keep the overhead low if you are going to do a brick and mortar. And so make sure you keep that in mind when you're looking at physical spaces for your law firm. And aside just from the office itself, you're going to need systems to run the firm. I suggest going with more cloud-based systems. And so for a lot of software, they have options for like a desktop version or a server-based version, or a cloud-based option. Go cloud. It's so much easier for you when you have to get that laptop upgrade in 3, 4, 5 years, or when you add staff on in the future, because you will be adding staff in your law firm, right? And so having a cloud-based system that you can access from anywhere, from any device that logs in, it's going to be so much easier for you in the long run with your law firm. And thinking about keeping overhead low, remember that when you first go out on your own, you are wearing all the hats. You are doing all the things. You're not just lawyering. You're not just running the law firm. You are your receptionist. You're doing intake. You're doing the consults. You're handling the customer complaints, right? You're dealing with reviews. You're doing the marketing. You are your own janitor. You're doing all these different roles. And so as soon as we can afford to get you help, we will. But when first starting out, just remember, if you're coming from a firm where you had staff and had employees and had support, you're not going to have that when you go out on your own. So it can be a little bit of a wake-up call to my solos who are new to going solo from a firm, especially, that you will be doing all those things yourself, and you will not be paying for those things until you have the revenue coming in to support paying for them. Now, we're going over tips on starting your own law firm, but also you might want to make sure that you don't make the 7 mistakes that law firm owners make. So make sure you get that free guide. It's linked for you below. It's the 7 mistakes that law firm owners make and how to avoid them. So make sure you get that below, and let's keep going to the next tip. Next, we're going to develop your marketing plan, and we're going to start with your website. When I did my website, I did it myself. I liked GoDaddy also, and Squarespace. I think GoDaddy has a website builder. I had GoDaddy to buy my domain, to buy my email. Don't have lawfirmofjohndoe@gmail. Please get john@johndoelawfirm.com. Buy it from GoDaddy. It's very cheap. And then I use Squarespace to build my website myself. They have beautiful templates. If you are more technically inclined than I was, you can use something like Wix or other platforms for building your law firm website. But I use Squarespace. I think GoDaddy has a lot of great options options as well. And just remember, we're not looking for an A+ website. Your first website is not going to be the best website that you've ever seen. It just needs to be a good solid B and needs to have the information that the clients need to know. What your practice areas are, how to reach you, your pricing models, some FAQs, maybe some blogs, some kind of content, right, is what we need in the law firm website. And keep your overhead low. Don't spend a lot of money getting someone to build it for you unless you have extra money to blow. I did not. I had a very strict budget to open my law firm, and so I did that myself. Next, we're going to create your Google My Business profile and set that up for your law firm. And so you'll want to make sure you fill that out, the address, the hours you're open, your website, your phone number, have a few photos of you up, fill that out completely. And when you start getting client reviews, you're going to get them there. You want to start there. That will help you show up organically on Google, on the Google Maps page without having to pay for it. So make sure you build out your Google My Business profile. Next, you have to create content, and whatever that looks like for you and for your firm, pick what works for you. That can be writing blogs for your website, that could be video content, that could be social media posts, whatever you decide to do, but you need to be consistently putting out content, not just for Google and SEO and ranking and things like that, but also to establish yourself as an authority and to create credibility for yourself by talking about the very issues that your clients are facing. So if you do family law, talking about family law and different stages of that process or what that looks like to work with you and how your office can help them. If you do bankruptcy, answering some FAQs about bankruptcy and foreclosures and judgments and garnishments and answering those questions that your clients are looking for. A website, if you're not sure what questions your clients are asking or how to phrase them, answerthepublic.com is a great platform. It's free. You type in the topic and it'll give you at least probably 50 or so questions, and it'll rank them based on popularity of what questions your clients are asking when it comes to that topic. So start there if you don't know what type of questions to be answering. So again, this can be blogs, it could be video, it could be social media, whatever your preference is for content. Pick one. Don't try to do all the things. Don't try to do LinkedIn and X and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. That's too many. Don't set yourself up for failure. Don't try to do too much. Pick one or two platforms if you're going to do social media and stick with it and show up consistently. Or if you're going to write blogs for your website, making sure you're doing at least 2 a month. I don't like to see 1 a month. I think that's too few. You want to be posting at least bi-weekly, so every other week. Or if you can do weekly, especially when you're first starting out, you might have more time on your hands. So do it weekly. You want to keep putting out content, answering the questions that your clients are asking. And the last piece of your marketing plan, but might be the most important, is to network. Some of my best clients, the best sources of revenue for my firm have been from people that I knew, or maybe they knew someone. So you have to develop and grow your network. Even if I've been doing this 17 years now that I've been an attorney, I still do networking. I still go out, and I am an introvert. I have shared with you my Myers-Briggs. I am an ISTJ. And I still make sure that I am intentional about going out and meeting people, and not just other lawyers. I mean, you can do that with other like bar association groups, right? At the county level or the state level, but also outside of the legal profession, your chamber of commerce, your Rotary. Are there other business meetup or referral groups? You need to get out there and meet people, tell them what you do and how you can help clients. Next, we need to build your knowledge and your support system. We need to find not just one, but a few mentors for you. Now, there's a lot of programs like bar association groups that have mentoring programs, but we want this to be long-term relationships, not just someone that you meet once and that's it. And so even if you are not new to practicing law, let's say you've been practicing for 5, 10 plus years, you still, and going out on your own, you're going to need other solos who are there and are in your corner, who you can pick up the phone and call them and just think through something, talk through something, troubleshoot something when it comes to just the operation of the business of your law firm. So you're going to want practice area, mentors, relationships, but also other solo lawyers as well to go to when times get tough. Because even now, even after all these years, I still have hard days. I still have problems I haven't encountered before, but you will never have a problem that another lawyer hasn't already had. So you want to have those people in your corner who have your back, who will pick up your phone call, answer that email, answer that text, and kind of help you when you're having a hard time. Another great way to do this is to join different listservs. So at my county and state bar level, all the different practice groups have listservs. And so they have one for practice areas, but then they also have one for solos and small firms. And that has been a great wealth of knowledge, of resource, and support in helping me and helping other solos when they've gone out on their own and kind of looking for a new bookkeeper, looking for tech help, trying to figure out if this software is good or if that software is good, right? So having those people that you can go to, even if you don't know them personally, to just bounce ideas off of. And then also from that, you can create some one-on-one relationships with people in those groups as well. And then also for any attorneys who are newer to practicing law, you might want to consider volunteering for a local legal clinic, doing some pro bono work to get some firsthand experience, because you can, watch all the CLEs and yes, you've come out of law school, but you don't know how to practice law. And the only way to really get that true experience and knowledge is to actually do it. And so volunteering for your county bar, for your state bar, at local legal clinics to get that firsthand experience in your practice area, working with clients, dealing with client management is a great place to start if you're just getting your feet wet in the practicing of law. This next one is a biggie that we all need a reminder of, myself included, to stop waiting for perfect. You don't need everything to be perfect before you do something. Your website does not have to be perfect. Your logo does not have to be perfect. And I get it. I understand the feeling of not wanting to put something out until it's perfect. But if you do that, you're setting yourself up for analysis paralysis. And you know what I'm talking about when I say that. And you're never going to get your law firm open if you're waiting for everything to be just right, if you're waiting for perfection, if you're waiting for the right time. Now, there is some pre-planning that goes into opening your law firm, but we don't want to wait until perfection. And if you've been doing that and you haven't opened your law firm yet, that's why you're waiting for perfect, and that time is never going to come. You have to decide that you're ready. Being ready is not a feeling. It's a decision that you have to make for yourself. So again, when we're doing these things and creating the content and making the website and figuring out the logo and the letterhead and all the things, we don't need A+. We don't need perfection. I've been a lawyer for 17 years and I'm still tweaking my website. I'm still updating our processes and our intake forms. It's never going to be perfect, and that's okay. Now, I understand why you're going solo. You want freedom, you want control of your time, you want more revenue, and you know that there's a better way to run a law firm and how to practice law. I get it. Before I went solo, I worked at a law firm where I could see all the ways that I didn't want to do it and how I wanted to make lawyering and running a law firm done my way. And you are probably thinking the same thing. And you've been toying with the idea of going out on your own and if going solo is the right decision for you. You are where I was 10 years ago, wanting to improve my career satisfaction and wondering if going out on my own was the answer. I was working at a firm. My kids were very young. I was very unhappy, pretty miserable where I was working. And I just knew that I did not work so hard to become a lawyer to be unhappy in my career. And you might be in that same spot where you know how hard you work and how far you've come. And there's got to be something better. And you're thinking maybe going out on your own is the answer. And when I was in your shoes a little over 10 years ago now, I just didn't know how. I didn't have all the answers. And I was in my own way and my own obstacle in going out on my own. But you're in the right place. You've gotten yourself here. You're asking the right questions. And hopefully the videos that I'm making are making it more clear for you if going solo is the right decision for you. This is what I needed when I went out on my own, when I was trying to decide before going out on my own if this was the right decision. I needed videos like this, and that's why I started making these. And when I went out on my own, I had been practicing law for about 7 years at that point in time, and so I knew how to lawyer. I had a good grasp on that. I knew how to deal with clients, but Maybe you are a newer lawyer. Maybe you're in law school. Maybe you just gotten out of law school, or maybe you've been out of, the work field for a while. Maybe you've had kids or have had a reason that you haven't been lawyering for a while and you're kind of getting back into it, or for whatever reason, you were kind of feeling a bit newer and getting your feet wet when it comes to lawyering. So you'll probably want to watch this next video. I'm going to put it right here for you, that talks about going out on your own when you don't have any experience. So again, if you're in law school or fresh out of law school, just passed the bar exam, or maybe you've been out of the practice of law for 10 years or so, or something like that, and you're kind of like, how do I start as a newer lawyer? How do I start with less experience? How do I start when I don't really have a network? This video is for you, so hop over there and I'll see you in the next one.